They say if you're determined, you can overcome any obstacle. 22-year-old Theshaya Naidoo has proven you should never, ever give up.
Naidoo went from a 16% mark in mathematics and matric, I can definitely relate to that, to obtaining 2 degrees at the UKZN. And she attained her Bachelor of Social Science and Bachelor of Laws with, listen to this, cum laude. Now that's something she never thought she could accomplish. Well, Naidoo had to overcome a lot of obstacles to achieve this. That includes bullying, a perfectionist family, and colourism. So let's find out how she did it. She joins us now live from Pietermaritzburg. A very good morning to you, Theshaya. Thank you so much for joining us. And I must say, congratulations for this achievement, because it is incredibly massive. And I really do mean it when I say that I can relate. I know my parents are not watching, so I can proudly say it. I did not even get double figures in my maths percentage at the end of matric. Yes, I did not, Faith. You can look at me with judgment. I decided in matric that I'm going to just not bother with mathematics, and I'm going to focus on my other subjects so I can get them to better marks. So I can totally relate. And your story, though, is different in the sense that you had obstacles that you had to overcome. You had, people looking at you saying that you better achieve or else. And you've done it. You're 22 years old and you're sitting with 2 degrees and they are cum laude. I mean, just talk to us. Let's talk about how you managed to get to this point of achieving what you have in your tertiary year before we go back to matric.
Okay, so thank you so much, firstly, for the opportunity. It is quite an honor to be here this morning. One of the things that I definitely believe was the driving force between what I have achieved at university was actually finally doing something I was passionate about. I was always obsessed with the law and the difference that being in the legal industry can make to South Africa as an entirety and as a nation. So finally being able to pursue law was definitely a driving force behind the success I've had, because I really truly enjoyed the modules I was doing. I enjoyed studying. I had an excellent faculty behind me at UKZN, and so I definitely think that if I could go back to my high school self, the one thing I would do differently is to take maths lit instead of maths. At my high school there was a hierarchy, so all of the students in the A class were doing maths core, while as everybody in the F class was doing maths lit. So there was a hierarchy. So taking maths, pure maths, was actually more of an ego thing more than a passion thing. So, or the ability to do maths actually. So I definitely, if I could go back, I would definitely not take maths.
You know, a lot of times, Theshaya, I think that your story is so synonymous with so many young people's stories, where you do what you think is popular instead of doing what you're actually passionate about, especially when it comes to taking up these subjects at a high school level. Look, I can relate with taking up subjects at a high school level because I thought I was going to go into BCom marketing. That was the thing in those days, 100 years ago. So that was the BCom marketing. If you did that, I mean, you were the cool kid. And I remember a principal of mine coming to me and saying, Faith, you're not a BCom marketing person at all. And at the time I was highly offended. But in hindsight, thank goodness for what she said. But how many of us are always caught in that, between choosing what I'm truly passionate about and what I really care about versus choosing what people think I should go with?
Absolutely, because even at my high school, there was a lot of bullying around maths lit, because you weren't as smart if you were doing maths lit, and that was really reinforced by the hierarchy of having the pure math students in the A class. So I think that definitely is something that needs to change, is the stigma around doing maths lit. And something that I always tell students who ask me today is that if you do not intend going into a career that requires core maths, do not pursue the subject in high school just for the clout, because there is no, at a university level when you are applying, pure math students are not prioritized over maths lit students. And if I knew I could do an LLB degree with maths lit, 110% I would have taken it.
Talk to us about your family. We describe them as a perfectionist family. They're obviously a family that, for them, it's A plus or nothing. It's distinction or nothing. And you probably would have felt that pressure as well. So you're already dealing with having to compete with the guys in the A class at high school, and then you have to come back home and deal with a family that expects so much of everybody in that family. Everybody from themselves as adults to the young as well. Just the navigation of your family, having to convince them that you really aren't stupid, that you actually do know things, that there is something that you're passionate about, and that you can actually get the results that they expect of you. How did you manage to work them around?
So I don't think it was about working around them, because I did have a very solid support structure from my family, and I think it was that perfectionist ideology, as the media is saying, that made me the person I am today, because I wouldn't have been striving for what I have been striving for if I didn't grow up with that mindset that anything less than the best is not good enough. Because my favorite thing that my mom used to do when I was in school was, when I got 9 out of 10 for a spelling test, she used to say, what happened to the 1 mark? It wasn't about you got 90%. And that was the ideology that brought me to be the academically achieving and successful person that I am. Because while a lot of people might perceive this as negative, for me it really worked, because growing up, I see a lot of people, you get that 74%, but that's in university, but that 74% is not cum laude. So for me, it was always that ideology with that 1 mark is always going to be the driving force behind everything. It could make or break you, because getting cum laude, and if you get 74.4, you don't get cum laude. That 0.1 can change your entire life. So for me, having that, a lot of people are saying perfectionist family is the reason that I am where I am today, because they taught me that you can't work for mediocrity but striving for greatness. That's not how it works. Your work ethic needs to correlate and align with what you want to achieve.
And I love how you say that your work ethic needs to correlate and align with what you want to achieve, because not only are you even studying, from what I understand, you're also a content creator. And your social media platforms have actually got quite a lot of traction, teaching different things around education, financial management, and the like. Just talk a little bit about that, the diversification of a human being, you know, not just being one thing, but being able to actually be a plethora of things that you are actually very passionate about.
Yeah, so I didn't want, well, I can't dance, so I couldn't go into that when I wanted to start TikTok, and I can't cook either. So I wanted to really hone in on what I was passionate about, and that was helping people. And so I looked at the challenges I faced. And for me, when I completed matric, all I saw and all I see to this day is the publicity around students who get 10 and 11 distinctions. And while that is no doubt an accomplishment, I really think that there needs to be more media attention given to students who get average marks, because the suicide rates around matric results times is very unnecessary, in all honesty, because of the pressure placed on matric students to get the marks that they get. So a lot of what I share on my platform is what I wish I knew 5 or 6 years ago. During my orientation at university, I was in tears because I had absolutely no idea. I was running around like a headless chicken. And it's just me sharing what I have learned over the past 5 years. And I'm very fortunate that a lot of people have resonated with my content and told me how much it has helped them, because 5 years ago, when I completed matric and I got 16% for maths, I thought it was the end all of everything. But if I gave up at that point, I would not have had all the opportunities that I have had. So I think a lot of people need to keep in mind that, yes, a matric certificate is important, but there are so many opportunities that are available to you, even if you don't do well in matric. It's just that you need to be proactive about finding out about the opportunities that are available.
Again, I say to you, I can totally relate to that. I don't know where my matric certificate is today, but I certainly do know where my ENCA contract is sitting and what it is that it's saying. And it says to me that, you know what, you don't need that. Faith, I got 9%.
You got 9% for mathematics?
I got 9%.
Oh, don't worry, don't worry.
9%.
Do you know how much I got for... This is so embarrassing, so I'm going to confess as well.
Yeah.
not in school, not for mathematics, but in university when I was studying at Wits, I had to take up a subject called media studies. And when I took up a subject called media studies, at the time I thought, I will never ever go into the media industry anyways, who cares? And you know what I got for media studies? 30%. And you know where I am today? In the media world. So where you start is definitely not where you're going to end up.
Most definitely. Theshaya, social sciences cum laude, Bachelor of Laws cum laude, you're 22 years old. Is that where it ends? Are you going to get into the practices now, or are you still going to look to get something else cum laude?
So I am currently doing my master's in medical law. The motivation behind that was because when in 2018 my auntie was diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer, and when she was undergoing her single mastectomy, the doctor made significant errors due to time constraints. So she was in excruciating pain for the 2 years preceding her death. So my motivation behind that is to ensure that, especially in the context and in light of COVID, that medical practitioners are accountable and liable for the omissions that the effect that their omissions and actions have, not only on people's life but on people's quality of life.
Oh, you just make us so proud. We cannot wait to see you representing, especially the most vulnerable in society. Theshaya, congratulations once again. Keep going, keep forging ahead. We'll be keeping a close eye on you as we've got that little bit of invested interest in you now, as well as your success. So all the best with your future endeavors. And let's chat again soon. All righty. Theshaya Naidoo there, just giving us just a little bit of inspiration on this Saturday morning.